takes time because you still have to like figure out the weight and things like that. But I do all my shipping through PayPal.
We should do a tutorial just for Square and PayPal.
Yeah, because I actually have. I don't know if you guys are in Carly's group. I have the inventory loaded onto Square to where you can just drag and drop my file, and then you have all of like.
You have to do that on the computer, though, right?
Yes. And it makes it easy for me because I like to know like what's my hot selling color. What have I sold a lot this? Have I been selling a lot more skincare? I have it all categorized. I spent like 2-3 hours doing that, and I do it for all my downlines too. Because
where's that you said?
it's in Carly's. It's like the documents, the files.
Carly's.
Yeah.
What's the name of the group though?
Carly's Lippy Ladies. It's K.
You might ask.
L-E-I.
Are you part of Kelly's group, right?
Mm-hmm.
What group are you in?
I'm under Boss Babes, and I'm in Pearl Junkie.
Okay, well,
I
I'll
don't know
ask
which
Kelly.
one I honestly am
I'll ask
following.
Kelly because like she doesn't mind whenever we post things in Carly. She's like, "Oh, Christy, do you mind posting this in my group?" I don't mind doing that. It's just I don't think like Dawn wants all that stuff on her page and things like that. But like the smaller like
I
people.
think I'm in that group too, but I honestly don't know which one I'm actually.
Yeah,
Dawn is the queen. Jada is another. Is she queen? Then?
She's another queen.
She's another queen underneath Dawn, and then like.
They all kind of spread from there. It goes like from
Then
Lauren to like Kelly.
Is, like further down underneath Jada, I think. She's got.
They kind of branch this
there's,
way,
like,
I think.
Someone in between.
Yeah.
I
But
don't even know.
if you're part of Boss Babes, it's Kelly's group, right? I'll email her and ask her if she wants me to upload it into hers. I just don't want to do that on people's pages. Like I don't, because Carly doesn't mind if I do that because they know me and like they know I'm like, let's just make this easier
what's the
on
name of
y'all.
her page too though? Just
Carly's Lippy Ladies.
Yes.
I might be in it. I don't know.
Okay,
With the
so
Y.
really quick. Yeah, it actually works. You're totally seeing my July sales. It's been a very slow summer, and I actually was traveling all July, so don't judge me. So if you look right here, you have your gross sales. This is the number you're putting on that line 1. Does that make sense?
Okay.
That's everything, because this includes all of like your shipping charges, everything. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay, so then I have like my discounts. These are like my hostess discounts and things like that. This would be a deduction. You could put that down as like down on the bottom on this part 2 as like other deductions. You put like hostess discounts or whatever. That'd be your deduction line. And then let's see, this is your tax line. And then you can also see, this is why I like this. I'm gonna do for the month. Well, if you add it up for the year, your tax line, at the end of the day, you want to see the taxes that Senegent's charged you and that number to match. Most likely it's not going to because you are doing like parties and discounts and things like that. Whatever the excess of is that, the deficit will be your deduction on sales. Because your sales tax is actually going to be, well actually no, your gross sales will probably be, your gross is going to be gross sales plus tax is actually what it's going to be because they actually break out tax separately. So that's what you're putting on line 1.
So what you're going to deduct is, though, like when you go on your invoices, you're going to add up all the taxes
And it goes down the bottom.
from everyone.
Yep.
Yeah, even if it doesn't match.
Yep.
So
Just
are
leave
your
that option.
discounts based off of your spreadsheet that you loaded in there?
What
That
do
has
you
all the
mean?
products? Like, how did it know that you discounted?
Because I have every product in there.
Okay.
And so if I do a party and I'll just do like, I have discounts, like I have a discount line item, like 30% off and things like that. It'll go and discount all of that.
Okay.
Anytime I put in the discount in there, it totals all of it for me. Does that make
Okay.
sense?
So I do need that.
And if you gave a product away for free, and
It's not, I don't run it through my Square like how she said. I keep it to the side, like I keep a spreadsheet of like birthday giveaways, things like that. Or like if you're doing like, let's say you're doing a Facebook party and you gave them a free gloss for winning a game or whatever, I keep a note of that, and that will be, it's not even, I don't run it through my
And
Square.
the only reason I ask is why don't you put it through discount 50%, and that way it's already documented on your spreadsheet.
You could do that.
So what's the benefit of putting it on the side?
Neither. It's just record keeping. I didn't really get my Square up to date until like March because like I got into it and I went fast and hard in February and then I got so busy with work, so I literally was spending most of end of March and April trying to organize my crap. I'm still trying to organize my crap because we moved and then now I'm back in busy season, so it's a never-ending cycle for me, unfortunately. But you can run it through your Square and you can just discount it like 100% if you wanted to, so it's actually in there. You could do that as well because then it's in there. Does that make sense? Because no matter what, actually I would probably recommend you to do that. That's actually smart. I might actually
Will
just
it
go
let
back
you?
to. I think so. Or what?
So like you have.
Doesn't
the
it
free
normally
swipe.
say it has to be at least $1?
Is it? I don't
I
know.
think when you go to do an invoice.
They're not really doing anything for you.
Yeah.
That's true. That's
They
probably
don't
why.
make no money.
But you're not running a transaction through them either when you're putting a cash thing in there. It's
Yeah.
just for your bookkeeping.
No, I do run a transaction for a cash. I'll show you what I do on my
So
phone.
the cash transactions will take your free swipes or whatever.
No.
Oh, they don't?
Nope. It's only when you're actually swiping like a card. Does it charge you? Because it's the processing fee. So if I,
pick other.
huh?
Wonder if you can pick other.
I do pick other for PayPal.
No, for 100% discount.
I don't know. Okay, so let's just look. So this is my square. I know no one can, I don't know if you guys see that very well. So let's just say she bought Amethyst Shadow Sense. So, and it says including tax. And we're going to charge it. Hold on. Charge. If you just put cash, it's not going to do anything. They won't charge you anything for it. Square won't do anything like that. It's only when you swipe a card because they have to process your transaction, they have to charge you a fee. Does that make sense?
So you could do
Yeah.
cash 100%, or it won't do book.
No, but see, then well, I guess you could put cash if you wanted to. See, I don't know if I do that exactly because I actually have QuickBooks, and my Square links to my QuickBooks. That's another thing, so that's probably why I
What
don't
does
do it.
other do when you put other?
You put like check, gift card, other. Because I feel like that's misleading. Because then you'll see down here it says total collected. You're gonna assume that you have that cash, and you might kind of freak out like, well, crap, I don't have that much cash. Why didn't I deposit? Because I reconcile how much I have in checks, how much I have in cash to put in my bank account. Does that
But
make
when you
sense?
hit in 100% discount, the actual number won't be in there, right?
But I don't think you can discount 100%. Is what she's saying. Because it has to be something has to be at least like $1.
Yeah, I think it'll say.
Yeah, I've never tried to do 100% discount. That's why I keep it separately.
Okay.
There's really no difference. I mean, how much are you giving away free? You know, I don't give away that
No,
much.
I'm
free,
just curious
Yeah.
how you would do it.
So that's what I do, just because I know on the side how much it is the total, and at the end of the year, it's a spreadsheet. I can total it really quickly and just put that number at the bottom and just say hostess gifts,
Because I didn't know you had to have a dollar amount in
Yeah.
there for it
I
to
think
work.
it says minimum $1.
which kind of makes sense because how could you do an invoice for $0? Yeah. So because I've never discounted it that way. I just keep my own spreadsheet.
What about with testers? Are those deductions?
That's we're gonna go into cost of goods sold on that.
Okay.
That's a deduction too. Okay. So does that make sense? What goes into gross receipts? That number one line, everything. So you really should be
Everything
adding
gross
gross sales plus your tax because you need to have all that income sitting there. Because your gross sales, if you have like a shipping, like I have a shipping item, like it's like shipping for $3, it's gonna be my gross sales. Does that make sense? So you just want to make sure that you have all that out. So you're picking up all the income that you've fully received. Your discount item is gonna go under your deduction line. And I totally wanted to use like an iPad, and it's not an iPad. And then, fees. Has all your fees that you paid for the year. When you run the year, that's a deduction too. You're gonna put credit card processing fees. That's another deduction you put at the end too. Okay? So that's literally what you're pulling from this little sheet. Okay? Okay. So now comes cost of goods sold. This is kind of the harder one. So if you look, it says on line 4, it says cost of goods sold from line 42. Line 42 is over here, and we're going to run through this whole little calculation real quick. And this is going to answer your question you asked me and also about testers. So inventory at the beginning of the year. So we're just going to use me as an example, okay? I started in January, so my inventory at the beginning of the year was 0. You should be counting your inventory at the end of the year, and there's 2 different ways that you can do it that I would recommend. I'm going to tell you how I'm planning on doing it. So my inventory, so line 35 would be 0, because I didn't start with anything, right? Purchases less the items withdrawn for personal use. That answers your question.
Wait,
So
what?
on line 36. When you go through all of your Synergence invoices, and this is why I recommend as you order them, print out your invoices because now Synergence, when they send you this stuff, they don't have the invoices in the box, they have packlets, and it's annoying. You want to keep track of all your stuff. So let's just say I end up buying $2,000 worth of product, right? But I bought, I kept a climate control for myself. That was personal use. I need to subtract out how much that was or how much the cost was, which I think it's $25 cost, but whatever. We're just using that for example. That is actually how you do your personal use because you were asking that. Does that make sense? What I do on my invoices that are personally for me, I highlight on my invoices. So at the end of the year, I just know to add up the highlighted stuff that was my personal use stuff, and then I deduct it.
So where it's itemized, you actually highlight.
Like the climate control or whatever. Yeah.
You just highlight it.
Yes. So I know.
And this is what you actually paid, or
This is going to be what you actually paid.
okay.
What you actually paid. Because at the end of the day, your invoices are going to be all totaled up together. Does that make sense? Okay. So this is beginning. Can't write very well. This is purchases. This is personal stuff. Okay. So then we get down to, you won't have to worry about cost of labor unless you were like hiring some child to package your stuff or whatever. Materials and supplies, this would be like your testers and things like that. But I feel like that's already kind of put into your purchases. Does that make sense? Because I keep track of my testers. Like, I don't really need to though, because I kind of know what I have as testers, if that makes sense. But this is already wrapped up in here because that's this, and you'll see where I'm getting to this, okay?
But for the materials and supplies, could you count the little like baggies and things that you put?
You can put it there, or you can put it, I don't like to put it in cost of goods
Okay.
sold. I like it separately.
Okay,
Because cost of goods sold, I think of just product,
gotcha.
just actual Synergence products. Because then I want to know how much I'm spending on like advertising supplies and things like that. That's I keep cost of goods sold very simple because for this reason. Okay, so then you get to line 41, which is the inventory at the end of the year, right? And this is what you should be doing on 12/31/2016. There's two ways that you can do this. How I'm gonna explain to you is like an average cost, because there's some girls that can't buy 50% off every single month, right? You gotta buy 40% off. You can't hit, things like that. So this is how I'm gonna value my inventory. So let's say at the end of the year, I have 10 Lip Sense tubes left. We'll just say 10 glosses because glosses are $10, right? So I have 10 lip glosses left and that's it. So then you can either go off of first in, first out inventory, which meaning the stuff that you got back in January and February, you've already sold, and the stuff you have left is all that you'll have left. I would go to my very last invoice of the year and count 10 glosses of how much I paid for it, and that would be my ending inventory. Because that could be that last invoice, I got 30% discount instead of my 50%. Does that make sense?
What's the purpose of documenting that?
Because you have to get your cost of goods sold number. You have to know how much you sold in the year to get to your net income number. You have to value your inventory no matter what. Like any business that sells anything, you have to. There's no way around that, unfortunately. Unless you're gonna just say that you sold everything, but let's be real, who actually sold everything at the end of the year? You know what I mean? That makes sense. So let's just say hypothetically, so that's first in, first out, and that's actually what I'm gonna do. Because I'm buying,
Not your testers, that's just stuff that you would resell to testers.
yes. You don't count your testers because your testers are right here, you're taking out a deduction. And you'll see why this is a deduction and I want to get to the bottom number, okay?
So inventory end of year is technically a deduction.
No, we're not there yet.
Okay.
Okay, so then you're going to go ahead and take, so let's just say I got 50% off those glosses, it was $100. I have $100 inventory sitting there to roll into 1/1 of 2017, right? Okay, so then your cost of goods sold will actually be, you're going to take $2,000 less the $50 that you use for your personal use, less your ending inventory to come to, God, I can't even do math, 1850? Is that right? Yeah, I really don't do math in my head. Every time I do, I screw up. I have a calculator on my desk. This number is then going to be transferred to the first page, and that is your deduction. Does that make sense? Because you can't deduct something you haven't sold. An inventory is an asset to you. Does that make sense? Any questions? Does that make sense?
Okay, can I go back to number 36?
Mhm.
Okay, purchases less cost of items withdrawn for personal use. So personal use is the stuff that I use for myself, but not my testers.
Yes.
And then you said something about testers go.
Testers are going to be in your purchases. Because so let's just say I buy 5 lip sensors, right?
It's a deduction.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because I used 4 of them for testers and I kept 1 for myself. So just say this is everything, taking out the 1 that I used for myself. Pretend there's no ending inventory. Get to that total number, and that's what you sold for the year. Does that make sense? What I'm saying? Because since it's 1850, all this includes my testers. I'm getting that as a deduction. Cost of goods sold is like the hardest thing, and it sucks doing it on returns too.
So on line 36, you're gonna come up with,
I broke out line 36 into two pieces for you, but it's the same thing because
so
it
you have
says
to do a
it's purchase.
subtraction. So
Yeah.
you'll add it all together.
Yeah, because it's purchases less personal use is going. Well, this is actually all line 36. That makes sense.
So purchases is just gonna be
Everything you bought for the year.
everything you bought. That's not including tax or
You can
Shipping.
do. I would do that as a separate line. I would do that as a separate line, honestly,
Purchase is just the cost of the goods.
of the goods.
so how many total you bought on your
And then we'll talk about tax and shipping, where that's going to go. And then I'm going to do I'm going to write it through for you. So that once you see the whole picture, I think it'll be easier if that kind of makes sense.
So cost of goods would just be percentage of the product. So that would be